MXTV is proudly brought to you by Peter Stevens Motorcycles, QBE Insurance, Motorcycle Insurance Specialists, Fox, and Honda, the power of dreams.
Everyone, I'm Brendan Bell and welcome to this week's MXTV, and of course joining me as always is former Australian Supercross and Motocross star Lee Hogan. Welcome, Lee.
Thanks, Belly. Great to be back again, mate, because we have got another massive week on MXTV. Rod Lay will be showing us what to do when we get out there on the track. Chad's back for another tip with more about what you can do to get your bike ready for a ride. Factory Matt drops by with some Christmas ideas. We make a couple of house calls as Macca's at it again with another bloke and another bike in his popular Blokes and their bike segment. And I'll be spending a bit of time with one of Australia's top pro riders to see what he gets up to away from the track.
I can't believe we're going to get through all of that in half an hour. Are you sure we're not on for an hour this week?
No, mate, we just got the stock standard 30 minutes, but we've got no time to waste. Let's go and see who Macca's got for us in this week's Blokes and their bike segment.
G'day everyone, I'm Macca and welcome to Blokes and Their Bikes. Today I'm at Paul Luxmore's house. Let's go and see if he's home. G'day Luxy, how you going, mate?
G'day Macca.
How you going, buddy?
Good, mate.
That's good. Can we have a look at your bikes, mate?
Oh yeah.
What have we got?
81 RM465.
Mate, what's going on with the blue rims or blue hubs?
It catches everyone's eyes. Bit of a history. Brother and I had an RM250, about 84 model. It had those coloured wheels, and we just sort of take it from there.
Where did you buy this bike? Did you find it in a shed or in a house, or how did you find it?
I just got the old trading post out and $800 special.
$800 special. Looking around your shed, we've got some very interesting stuff here. We've got a pair of nylons here, and I believe maybe these are Joel Smith's.
They are, from the 6th day when he came over to Australia, did the 6th day, and I was fortunate enough to be there when he was ripping them off, and I thought, can I have him? He said, yeah, you can have him.
Did you get his undies too?
No, thanks. No, thanks. A bit stinky there.
How long have you been riding bikes for?
Probably 20 years now.
20 years?
Been doing a lot of competitive stuff, so I try to get as many trophies, you know. Bit of bling for the shelf's always good.
Bit of trophy hunter, are you?
Oh, no, not a trophy hunter, but I don't mind a trophy before a bit of cash. A trophy's a bit of a permanent thing.
Bit of a memento.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what we've really come to see today is the mighty Suzuki RM370. Let's go and check it out.
No worries.
Okay, mate, this is it. This is the 1976
Correct, yep.
RM370. Where did you buy this from, mate?
The old trading post again.
Trading post again?
Yeah.
Okay. 1976 model. How and where did you find parts for a 1976 model?
Oh, a lot of ringing around, chasing the internet, getting mates saying, ring this bloke, and eventually you get a lot of it, but not all of it.
How standard is the bike? Is it pretty much original, or is there some sort of aftermarket parts or something?
I try to keep as much of it as original that I can get. A lot of things, as you can see, the pipe, that's imported from America.
Right.
It's a Circle F pipe. That's probably the heart of the motor that gives it all the power it needs, because the standard pipe's pretty restrictive. Because
you're quite a tall person, that you've actually got some extensions on the handlebars to make the handlebars higher. Yep. Is that because the bike was too hard to ride, or?
I just found that when standing, I felt like I was going over the handlebars all the time, especially when braking or going down the hill, so I raised the bars just to give it enough time.
How much money does this owe you now?
I've never really put a dollar value exactly, but I'd estimate $3,000, maybe $4,000.
Okay. So
but there's a lot of labour, I guess, you couldn't put into it. Time on the internet, I guess, you know, just sitting around, put money value on that, who knows?
Okay. Now, I've just noticed something, and I'll be able to fix this for you, mate. Mate, someone's drawn on you.
Hey, don't do that. Yes.
What, someone's scribbled on you. Take, who's that?
Roger DeCosta's signature, that one is.
Roger DeCosta, 5-time world champion?
Yes.
He signed your bike?
Yep.
How did that happen?
Just pure luck at the time. Able to bump into him, got the tank signed. Not going to ride on the tank again though, I don't think.
Okay, now Paul, you own Powerhouse Motorcycles. You race most weekends, or you're riding somewhere most weekends. Mate, how much time do you actually get to spend out in your shed?
as often as I can, but not always. Probably once a week, twice a week maybe if I'm lucky. Bit of cleaning here, getting bikes, the goggles ready, helmets and all the rest of it. So.
But it's bikes, bikes, bikes. Don't you get sick of it?
I don't get sick of it, but I get reminded from the wife. She always, gentle reminder. Where's our time, sort of thing. So it can't always be bikes, but it's pretty much 6 days a week, I guess. And maybe every second Sunday I get to have a ride and keep me happy, keep the bug happy.
Keep the family balance happy.
Yeah, that's it. It's all about the family balance.
That's
exactly,
right.
keeping the family balance.
No
yes.
worries. Okay, mate. Thanks for letting us have a look at your bikes.
Anytime, pleasure.
Now, for being a part of Blokes and their Bike Segment, you get some fantastic products from our good friends at King Chrome. Okay, mate, I see the barbie out there. I'm a bit hungry. You had a chance of getting a sausage or something on the barbie?
Yeah, let's go fire it up, eh? What do you reckon, Mike?
Okay, we'll see you next time. And remember, if it's classic, it's fantastic.
Yes, thanks to Macca and Paul there, and it looks like he's got a pretty sweet setup. Now, Cheyne Boyd is somebody all of you watching will know. He's one of Australia's best motocross riders and has been for a while. Now, Boyd's got a great setup at his joint and recently invited his old mate Lee Hogan to show us around.
One, two, three, four, five. Break it down the...
Well, as we can see from all the trophies on the wall, we're here with one of Australia's best motocross and supercross racers. That's right, it's Cheyne Boyd. Boydie, I tell you what, we've got a trophy that I can't see on the wall here. It was, second place in a 2002 Bendigo Supercross.
Obviously, you're the winner.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason why.
A lot of trophies, a lot of memories. It's all been good. I've had a fairly good career so far, so it's good.
Good stuff, Boydie. Why don't we take a bit of a look around this house of yours and let's suss it out.
Office is not really set up at the moment, fairly messy.
And the life-size poster of you up on the wall, did you put in a special request for that to be made?
It was just a thing that CDR did at that time. Don't get that photo, man.
Part of the modelling, part of the modelling portfolio. That's $1 million. Let's check out the gym.
You know, this would probably have to be my favourite part of the house. We've got pretty much everything I need in here.
Oh
Weights.
my Lord, will you look at the shoe rack?
And I do have a shoe fetish. No, obviously, again, Etni's one of my good sponsors that hooked me up extremely well. Just a few helmets I've kept from over the years. This is probably the one that stands out the most. 2004 Des Nations helmet. Fairly decent experience for me. That was my first Des Nations.
We've got a nice little stereo there.
Stereo, listen to some tunes.
We've got 50 Cent.
Yes, 50 Cent
acceptable.
is
White Zombie.
Old favourite.
Usher.
Kid Can Move.
You can. Madonna, good spelling too.
Bit of music to get pumped up at.
Keep you going. And do you sometimes as well, like when you're having a bit of a workout, you know, like to maybe do a bit of... Is this where you iron all of your jerseys over here, as we can see?
I don't do that.
And I like the pink touch on the board. That's
no, that is not mine.
It's always good to have a look at a photo board. They're great to look at.
This is my first year on a factory team. Fairly exciting year. Started my career off.
Got the Chad up there.
Yes, this was Team CDR for 2000. Obviously Chad, myself, Hogs and Daryl Hurley.
What we're going to do now, I just would like a bit of demonstration from you on the, shall we call it, the Demtel slider.
Yes. Well,
all right, let's hop on and see a little bit of the groin action work going.
This is my secret weapon, I guess.
Can you get a bit of do the hands as well?
But something that I guess is good.
It's obvious, mate, you got the essentials for a good workout. The mirror, must have for a good workout.
Of course.
The Gatorade.
Yes.
And the hair product. Now, what is going on with the hair product?
Well, the mirrors around, you got to look at yourself, obviously.
Come on, let's go play pool.
Sounds good.
All right, well, we've got a couple of spectators here to keep us on our toes. First of all, Danielle, all the way from the United States of America. She's a Cali girl. And Gusto, he likes to swing off the camera filming.
it's over.
Well, next up on Boyd's Ranch of Pleasure is the tennis court. Let's have a bit of a hit. Challenge time. 2 serves each.
Don't be scared.
Oh, jeez. Whoa! Damn! Oh.
That would be your fault.
Oh! All right, Boydie, you just need 1 point here, man. Just concentrate. Don't lose focus, all right?
No,
you got this. Oh! What kind of spin was that? Yeah, funny, huh? What kind of serve was that, man?
Hey, it's called a slice.
I guess he wouldn't be able to return that. Damn, man. I've had enough playing games with you, man. You keep beating me and everything. Well, that's about it for part 1 of checking out Cheyne Boyd's crib. Be sure to be watching in a couple of weeks for part 2. This ain't over.
Be first on Honda's all-new, lighter, faster, fuel-injected CRF 450R. First across the line on the 09 CRF 250R and CRF 150R. Be race ready with your free toolbox.
How much fun can you have on a Honda? This much fun! Ride out on your new Honda Fun Bike and set up camp with a free fun pack. Plus, there's a bonus $400 cashback on the CRF 50 and no application fee on Honda Finance. Hurry, because when they're gone, they've gone.
MXTV is proudly supported by GT Bicycles, Dunlop, Alpine Stars, Pro Circuit, Motul, Scott Goggles, and Suzuki.
Pulling your bike out of storage. Part 2, pre-ride preparation. Last time, we showed you some things to check if your bike had been left in storage for a while. This week on Chad's Mechanical Tip, we'll show you a few more important checks to do on the bike to make sure everything's sweet before you actually go out riding. Although your bike starts, there's a few things we can show you to make your ride a little easier. First up, tyre pressure. Might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't stay on top of this and pay the price with poor handling, or worse, flat tyres. You can obviously check your tyre pressure at the servo, but better yet, invest in a pressure gauge. It'll set you back $20 at most. Most tyres should be between 12 to 14 PSI. If you're lucky enough to have an airline at home, use it. If not, time to head back to the servo. Next up, check your spoke tension. Loose spokes can cause wear on the hubs and rim, so using a spoke spanner, spend a couple of minutes tightening them up. Also, check the fluid levels in the brake reservoirs and top up if necessary. Now the chain. We'll need to check the tension's right and that it has enough lube. Chain tension first. And we've got a real easy tip if you're on a Japanese bike. The gap on these should be about 60 mil between the rearmost point of the front chain guide and the chain. Quite simply, if you can fit 3 fingers comfortably between there, you're good to go. If not, tighten or loosen the chain adjuster until you're right. As always, if in doubt, check the owner's manual. Time to lube up now. Make sure the entire chain has a covering of lube, particularly on the O-rings inside the chain itself if your bike's fitted with an O-ring chain like this one. Most motocross bikes won't have one, but nearly all off-road bikes will. Speaking of lube, now time to check both the accelerator and clutch cables have enough as well. First, find out if they operate freely. If they do, sweet. If not, time to lube again. You'll need special cable lube for this. Clutch cable first. Disconnect at the bars and attach the special lubing attachment. Just enough here until you see it come out the other end of the cable. Same for the accelerator cable. Make sure that it's disconnected from the carby first though. Very important, as you don't want any lube running into the top of the carburetor. Again, just enough till you see it come out the other end. Then tighten both up. Each bike will have different cable setups, so just check the owner's manual again if you're unsure. Now for the forks. You should actually do this pretty regularly. But another good check before you head out riding is to ensure the air is bled from your forks. Get the bike on a stand with the forks off the ground and at full extension. Then simply undo the screws at the top of the forks to equalise the pressure. Pressure inside the forks should be at an atmospheric pressure when at full extension, and by doing this, you'll ensure that's the case. Once that's all done, you're all good and ready for the best bit of all. Time to suit up and go riding. Enjoy.
Well, thanks, Chad. We certainly did enjoy that tip. Well, okay, so Chad's got your bike in tip-top condition, ready to go for a ride. But now it's time to work on a bit of your riding skill out there in the bush. That's right, it's time for Rod Lay's riding tip.
G'day guys, this week's trail riding tip is all about hill climbing. Hill climbing can be extremely challenging and brings a lot of us unstuck, and it's no wonder when hills can be steep, rough, rocky and slippery all at the same time. So we need to make sure we get our techniques perfect and approach the hills with the right attitude. Don't rush into it and just blast straight up the hill. At the bottom, what you want to do is have a look at the hill and check out where all the bad obstacles are. There might be rocks or logs or sticks in the way that you might want to ride around. Getting halfway up the hill is not the place to find out that there's something in your way that you can't get around. Perhaps as a gauge you can use other riders to see how they went. If there's riders with you and they're going up the hill first, have a look at where they go and see how successful their line was. We need to get things right at the bottom of the hill. We need to be in the standing attack position, we need to have selected the right gear for the hill climb, and we need to use smooth throttle control to apply the power nice and evenly so that we don't get unwanted wheel stands or wheel spin. If we do, you either got to back off the throttle a little bit or perhaps slip the clutch a little bit to keep the momentum going forwards. At the bottom of a hill, it's important to be standing so that we can use the suspension in our legs to absorb any of the bumps at the base of the hill so that we can get a smooth run at the hill. However, sometimes this hill gets so steep that you haven't got much choice but to sit down. What you want to try and do is sit down up near the front of the seat rather than down the back so that you avoid unwanted wheel stands. Most hills, however, though, you're going to want to avoid using first gear as it's just too slow and the power delivery is too abrupt and you tend to get wheel stands and too much wheel spin and it's too difficult. So most of the time you want to attack hills in at least second gear. Some hills, however, you'll be able to take in third gear or fourth gear. Momentum is crucial when hill climbing. It's really important to keep a reasonable speed up. If you slow down too much, you tend to get much more wheel spin and it's hard to keep control and balance and you tend to run into every single obstacle on the track. Whereas if you go just a little bit faster, it'll allow you to ride over obstacles that you would have otherwise been stopped by. So what we've got to do to get that happening is use really smooth throttle control combined with smooth clutch use. If you feel the bike slowing down a bit, you can try rolling on a bit more throttle and perhaps slipping the clutch a little bit and you'll keep driving forward without wheel spin. If you have to do an emergency stop partway up a hill because something is in your way or you're wheel spinning or something like that, I recommend you just stop the bike and stall it. Let the clutch out, no matter what gear you're in, back the throttle off and pull the brakes on. And then just sit there and work out what your best avenue of attack is from there. Quite often, the best way to do it is to get off the bike, turn it around and head back down the hill and have another go if you really need to get to the top of the hill. Sitting there needlessly wheel spinning often gets you nowhere and just wrecks the track. So that's it for hill climbing. Hopefully we've given you some tips that can help you get to the top safely.
The Green Machine has a new team on Elizabeth Street, the new Peter Stevens City Store, with a complete range of Kawasaki road, trail and sports bikes, plus a crew of dedicated Kawasaki staff on hand to help you. Isn't it time you made the trip into Peter Stevens Kawasaki? You know what to do. Do it quick. Give them a call or check out the website at www.peterstevens.com.au. And remember, normal people go shopping, bike people go to Peter Stevens.
Ho, ho, ho! G'day everyone, it's Factory Matt here. With Christmas just around the corner, I thought what better time to give you some fantastic Christmas gift ideas to help keep all the dirt bike riders in your family happy. This week, I've got my hands on some fantastic Christmas booty that even the jolly fat man in that red suit would be happy to have in his stocking come Christmas morning. First up, we look at the Exura hand protectors from the good folks at Polysport. The Polysport Exura hand protectors are universal fitting for all MX and ATV applications and are lightweight and highly impact resistant, which is exactly what you want when you're out in the scrub. No wonder though, as rubber and polypropylene is used in the same moulding, making these guards the world's first bi-mould construction. Each set comes with a mounting kit included, and the direct handlebar mounting system ensures they couldn't be easier to install, and you'll find polysporting zero hand protectors at most good bike shops. Now everyone knows what I think about jugs, but that's just one reason why I think this next product, the Tough Jug from our friends at Ballard's, is an absolute ripper. It's called the Tough Jug, and it's the quickest, simplest, easiest way to refuel your bike. Yep, refueling your bike is as easy as 1, 2, 3 with this Tough Jug, as it has an extremely fast flow rate and an auto shut-off so that the fluid flow stops automatically. The universal seal fits comfortably on most bikes, and the jug is self-venting, so it's easy to use with no mess or spilling. The Tough Jug comes in a range of 4 different colours, holds 20 litres of fuel, and even has an ergonomically designed carrying handle, so no wonder it's become the racer's choice. It retails for just under $70, so to find out how you can grab one, just visit the Ballard's website at www.ballards.cc. Now when I'm heading off for a ride, I know the most important thing is to keep my trip factory ride tied down nice and firm. So that's why Gorilla tie downs from Birdman Motorcycle Accessories are another great Christmas idea. Too many people damage their bike by using really crappy tie downs, but these Gorilla tie downs are first rate and much better than some of the inferior imported junk you see on the market from time to time. The webbing on the Gorilla tie downs are made in Australia to tough Australian standards, have a 5-year UV resistance and superior quality buckles with stainless steel springs to provide long life and a firm hold. The Gorilla tie downs are an excellent Christmas gift that's perfect for anyone that cares about safely transporting their bike, so get your hands on a set. Give the guys at Birdman Motorcycle Accessories a call on 03 9876 8966. And I can't say it enough, make sure you tell them Factory Matt sent you. Next up, with another hot summer on the cards, why not grab yourself a top quality pit tent from Altegra? It'll keep you out of the weather and looking factory to boot. The Altegra pit tents are twice as tough as the other brands on the market, but only half the price, and have a frame option for almost every budget. They're built to last and come with a 4-year warranty on aluminium frames. And you can even get full digital sublimation printing on them too, just like Jason Bright did. How trick does that look? To find out more about where and how you can get your hands on a fantastic Altegra pit tent, just check out their website at www.altegra.com.au. Lastly, if you're going to look your best in 09, and let's face it, you know how important it is to look good, chances are you'll need to go out and get your hands on some new gear to go riding in. And you'll be doing well to look any better than when you're in this great new Acapulco gear from One Industries. Now I'm not sure where Acapulco is, to be honest, but I do know that wherever it is, if you go there in this great new gear, you'll look absolutely sick. Don't just take my word for it though, it's the same gear Ryan Dungey and Andrew McFarlane will be running also, so you know it's sweet. Pants retail for $239.95, the jersey $69.95 and the gloves $44.95, so at those prices, you just can't go wrong. Throw in a pair of Scott Critic Pro Air goggles at $109.95 and you'll almost look as trick as me. So there you go guys, a bunch of great Christmas ideas for you guys at home, but thankfully I reckon I've already sorted myself out. Sweet. Have a great Christmas everyone, and remember, if it comes from Factory Matt, it's gotta be good. It's factory.
Well thanks Matty, or is it Santa? Well come to think of it, the last time I checked I don't think Santa had a dodgy looking mow quite like that. Now I must say though that back in the 70s the mow was a pretty big thing. But for dirt bike fans, nowhere near as big as Belgium superstar Roger DeCosta, who pretty much dominated the motocross scene back in the day. Now Roger's pretty much done everything there is to do in our sport, including winning multiple world championships and being the current team manager of Chad Reed and the all-powerful Makita Suzuki team in the States. Now Roger made the trip down under recently, and Belly was lucky enough to catch up with him in this MXTV exclusive.
Well, you wouldn't believe it, guys. I'm in the middle of suburbia in Melbourne at a barbecue with some fantastically restored vintage motocross bikes, and somebody's here that's won 5 championships on bikes just like this, Roger DeCosta. Roger, welcome to Australia, mate. And
good to see
what are you doing here at the barbecue?
Well, a common friend of us, Steve Sweeney, knew I was coming to Sydney for the Supercross and to see Chad, and he talked me into stopping by here. I'm glad I did. It's a good bunch here.
Mate, it really has been a pleasure to see you out here supporting the vintage guys. Do you do much of sort of these guest appearances with the vintage scene around the world, really?
Not really. I get a lot of requests to do it, but because our schedule is so busy, you know, it usually doesn't work out. And still very busy with the race team, and now with Chad, try to get ready for next season, do a lot of testing. But it's still fun, and I still feel lucky to be involved and with racing and to work with young people and competitive people and basically to make a living from my hobby.
Roger DeCosta on the RM 370, mate. Tell us when you won the championship on this very bike.
You know, I'd been racing for CZ for several years, and then in '71 was the first time that the Japanese company entered the 500 class, and I was the only rider. After some national events in Belgium, I felt that, you know, I could win, and I felt the bike was good. So I went to the first race believing that we could win, and I don't think the Japanese thought we could do it the first year. We ended up winning that first GP. And
did you know from then that was it, your season, that you were going to win a championship?
I knew that I was going to be in the hunt, definitely.
Yep.
And I believed in it till it happened, you know, till it done. And for the '72 season, I feel I had the best bike compared to the competition that I had in my career. And I feel that that season I was on the top of my game also. I was in peak condition, and I had so much confidence that year that I felt I could let the guys go on the start, and I would catch them, you know. I would start going for it at the last 15 minutes and catch everybody and pass everybody.
You were regarded back in your time, you continued racing when a lot of people stopped racing. But before that, when did you realise that, hey, I need to get out and start training and doing some running and some physical fitness to ride these motorbikes at my best condition? When did you actually realise that?
You know, you did not have the same amount of time that is available to the racers today, because the travelling took a lot longer. Like, for example, if you had a GP in Russia, we would drive from Belgium, and with the border crossings taking a long time, and it would take you a week to get there. So what we would do, we would have a friend somewhere along the road. You would have your friend drive the car, and you would run a few miles along the road. Jump back in the car and drive for another 5 or 10 hours, you know.
That's amazing, the things that you had to do to get around.
It was just different, but, you know, it was the same for everybody, so that's the way it was.
That's amazing. Now, mate, as I said, you really are an icon of this sport. You've been around this sport for 30-odd years and at the top of your game. Who do you think is the greatest rider of all time?
I feel that a champion of one generation, if he was born in the next generation or 2 generations over, he would become a champion, and vice versa. You know, there's in every generation there's several good riders, good racers, but the guys that win the championships, I think the difference is a state of mind, and you see yourself as becoming a champion, and you do whatever it takes. You learn to do what it takes to get there.
Yep.
And it's that vision of seeing yourself and do whatever it takes. I think that's the difference between the good riders and the ones that do win the championships.
Definitely. Well, Roger, look, with those words of wisdoms, thank you very much for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Guys, if you want to know about motocross, he is the man that's going to teach you. Thank you very much, mate. Well, it was good to catch up with him, Lee. He's a great bloke. He's still really passionate about the sport, and I tell you what, he's going to be a fantastic asset to Reedy for the 2009 AMA Series.
Oh, he will for sure. Having someone like Roger DeCosta in your corner, what a bonus. It's got to count for something major, doesn't it?
Oh, it's like being a cricketer and having Don Bradman beside you. It's not too bad at all. And don't forget, guys, in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have part 2 of the series where we talk to Roger about how the Chad Reed plan come about, the deal, sorry, and we're going to talk to him about his plans on how he's going to combat James Bubba Stewart in the Supercross Series. Going to be huge, mate.
Oh, mate, can't wait to see that one. It's going to be awesome.
Now, that's it, mate. We're finished for the day. Thanks very much for coming down. We'll see you next week.
Oh, you will for sure. Let's get out of these flies. They're killing me.
You and me both, let me tell you. Thanks for watching, and of course, until next week, ride safe.
MXTV was proudly brought to you by Peter Stevens Motorcycles, QBE Insurance, Motorcycle Insurance Specialists, Fox, and Honda, the power of dreams.